My father Banya, my father Banya, my grandmother Banya, my grandmother Banya, Ayana Ibanya, Ayana Ibanya, my leader Banya, my leader Banya. That's why I not live. No, I not live. He gave I a message to all those people who no love progress.
I like to let this music play a little because sometimes it takes a little time to come up on Facebook. Sometimes it's monitoring the background.
Said to juke them with land lease. Let to juke them with the pioneer board.
I think we're on.
With the pioneer board. Juke them with Jamal. Juke them with Jamal. Then you juke them with free education. Juke them with free education. Equal pay for women. Equal pay for women. Juke them with the minimum wage. Juke them with the minimum wage. My leader Banya. My leader Banya. So help me God, I not live, yeah. No, I not live, yeah. Me a sat down with discipline under heavy manners. Me in a the struggle too. Me in a the struggle too. No bastard, no day again. No bastard, no day again. Everyone laughful. Oh, oh, everyone laughful. Juke them with the Cuban school. Juke them with the Cuban school. Then you juke them with the micro dance. Juke them with the micro dance. Juke them with the basic schools. Juke them with the basic schools. Socialists are no fool. Socialists are no fool. Juke them with posing. Juke them with posing. Then you juke them with
You're good, you know. You're good. You're good. I'm hearing you and seeing you're very good. Don't worry. I have a test to give you when. Oh, that's Ashley. Hi, Ashley. Oh, you. Oh, boy. Look, you're not Ashley. Lord, I nearly got in trouble. I nearly got in trouble. All right. Let me. This is good. We are at a good spot. So, I want to welcome a little bit of motion here. I want to welcome Mr. Horace Dalley. A little bit of motion here. I want to welcome Mr. Horace Dalley. A little bit of motion here. I want to welcome Mr. Catch me all the time.
Be patient, man. It will work out.
All right. So now, there's a thing with when you open a window in that allows you to join.
Yes.
Don't shut it down right away. It starts repeating. So that's what I started to do a while ago. Anyway, welcome to my program, sir. I call it Under the Spotlight. And I see you as one of my, if I were a fisherman, I would see you as one of my big catch. And I want to say the catch of the day.
No, man, I'm a small fry, man.
I know you like to play it down, but
no, I'm a small fry. I'm a humble youth, man.
I know, but you see this 83-year-old organization.
Yes.
And as I sometimes remind people, because we are in Jamaica, we walk around and we drive around, we see Usain Bolt, and we take it as nothing. But the rest of the world, people are out there that would love to see a Usain Bolt just walk on their street or some main street. True. So the PNP is a very big organization in terms of how people look at it throughout the world. You know,
Yes,
not
that's
every last place, but places where people know it. If you
Yes.
go on the African continent, they probably can tell you more about the PNP than people in Jamaica can tell you about it.
that is correct. That is
And
correct.
Africans look up to Jamaicans for guidance. It's another thing that a lot of people don't realize. And this is a place with 1.4 billion people, and we are just a little 3 million people. So with that, I played that song in particular because I probably will give you a little test as a teacher, a big time teacher.
Yes.
But I'm not going to start there yet. I like to ask people to tell me about themselves. Because people tell your story the best. I don't want to go research and find information and sit here and read out all
Yes.
I want you to tell me, especially that beautiful young lady who came here. I don't know, I think you're lying to me on that one. But
no, it's not Ashley. That's Janet. It's not Ashley. Janet.
That's Janet. Yeah, and I wanted to just say, good for you. You have somebody. She's right there with you on everything. So what I would like for you to do is just tell me everything, the good, the bad, and the ugly about yourself, the mischief you made as a child. You have maybe 5 and more minutes to tell us as much. All right?
Well, first of all, I'm very happy to join you, Stafford. I'm very delighted, really, and honored, really deeply honored, that you have invited me to join your program this evening. And I don't do a lot of these things. But when you wage that bet that I'm going to answer you against your friend, I said no. I couldn't let you down.
Okay.
Even though a lot of things going on and everybody's always busy. Sunday evening, lockdown Sunday, so you have all kind of things to do around the house. The family work you hard.
Yeah.
I'm a simple guy. I was born in Clarendon, Mitchelltown, like a place. I grew up there. I left there when I was 19 and came to Kingston. And like all of us who leave country, no, I was 17 and went to the Michael College, the great Michael. And from then on, I moved on into political activities, and I'm guided by a number of things, basic things like justice, equality. I grew up in the Wesleyan Holiness Church. I was youth leader for the church. I was national youth Bible quiz champion.
Wow.
At one time.
Right.
My faith is deeply rooted. And the Wesleyan Holiness Church, and I know a lot of people are listening who came up in the Wesleyan Holiness Church. Every year we had to go to summer camp in Torrington to the headquarters of church. And we go to our conventions. I taught Sunday school until I was about 18.
So you're one of them little goody youth.
No, man, I was a bad youth still. I went to listen to this one now. My mother took me to a baptism in Cockpit, right? And when I was 11, and there was a baptism service taking place, and of course you have to wake up to go from 6 o'clock to the baptism. And I was always at church. We always have, me and you, our age group, we have to go to church.
I went to
3-4 times, 3-4 times for the day.
We have to go to church.
Young people service, all kind of things. Yeah. And when we went to the baptism, Reverend King, Amos King, who was the big church in Clarendon, was in Maypen, Morris Boulevard. And my mother said, baptize him too bad. And I baptized him right there. Of course, I had to change, and I started to really, but she used to beat me a lot, say I was rude. Little things that you do, you go away to the gully, you go to the river, you go shoot bird, you go look cane, come back on time, school over, reach back on time. So I used to get a beating every day, every evening. But thanks be to God. My mom, Hyacinth, is 94 years old.
Oh, and she
lives in Toronto. She celebrated her 94th on the 18th of August, and she's doing well. Thanks be to God. I lost my father in 2001, and mom is doing well. And I have to say, she don't follow Facebook on these things, but them beating them what she give me,
Mhm.
help me to be a good man.
A good person. True, true. True, true.
So I ventured into politics, and
Some
nobody really recruited me. Nobody, I didn't say this, nobody recruited me. I wasn't the one who was recruited by anyone. We became very active at Michael College and started to get involved. My friend Upton Henry, who was a double LL man, and Salah and other people. Professor Hutton was, Clinton Hutton, our batchmate, was revolutionary from those days. Was always a revolutionary thinker. And I just decided that I'm going to join the PNP and became a member in 1976. And I went away to Cuba on a program. When I came back, I was nurtured and groomed politically by DK and Tony Spalding, but DK Duncan most of all, until Michael Manley finally found me. And when he found me, he took me under his wings. And I tell you, the maximum leader, Michael Manley, has had a lot of influence on my life and on the lives of many, many others our age. My political organizational mentor, the person who taught me the nitty-gritty of politics, is K. Duncan, my general.
Good stuff. Good stuff. So, and you came in at a very hot time.
Hot.
Yes.
Militant.
You weren't scared because of all them gunshots flying all over the place?
No, sir. No, man. When gunshot fire, you go towards it. We're just militant. We believe in something. Stafford, we, Sheldon McDonald, Louis Castrota, Paul Burke, Leroy Rennie, I could name Leroy Cook, Ruel Cook, Butch R. Scott, all of us who came in that period, Audrey Budai, Rose Campbell, Sonia Gonzalez, there's a group, Lorenzo Ellis, there's a group of us who were in the PNPYO who were militant, and we were not afraid of anything. We would have given our lives for the party and for the movement. Thank God, some gave their lives. And that is why
take a breath if you want. We can wait.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Take your time.
Some gave their lives for the party.
You know something? Before you go on again, I said to myself, you're a person who grew up in the church. I grew up in the church. We know about preaching and the gospel and sort of things. So there's a particular question I'm going to ask you because you have taken a stance. I don't want you to go back there, but I just don't want to forget this question because I didn't write it down. That you're a declared and avowed democratic socialist. You got the training in the what do you say, the cathedral of socialism in the West, and you are, you're steeped in the thing. So nobody can really, if you say this is who I am, and I can see and I understand and I appreciate it. But what I don't understand is when I hear you speak for somebody else to say the person is a democratic socialist, because in Christianity, somebody can't pray for you to go to heaven or go baptize for you to go to heaven.
No.
You have to get baptized. You have to believe in it. So how is it you're representing for somebody else?
The party, the People's National Party, is a democratic socialist party. We are a progressive party. Absolutely no doubt about that. We are not a conservative party. We are a party of progressive ideas for the development of Jamaica and the emancipation and the fulfillment of the aspirations of the masses of Jamaica. We are not against capital. We are not against those who own the means of production and those who own wealth. Never at all. And Michael Manley thought that. We are, the majority of our thinking is to ensure that the oppressed class in Jamaica, the ordinary men and women in Jamaica, can rise, can develop, can have a good education at anywhere, any institution, can go through any doors and get a good education, can own a good house, can live anywhere they want to live. And I tell you, that is the philosophy of the People's National Party and the members that subscribe to the People's National Party. And I speak without any contradiction at all, because I think I know where your question is coming from. I think I know you're too long.
Yeah,
you want to ask me whether or not that's a shawl from where? Is it from Libya or from Ghana?
No, Ethiopia.
Ethiopia.
And you know, this time of the year, this is fall, and it's because I don't like locking up the place too much, so I tend to have my windows open, and then after I start realizing I'm getting chilly. So, and this shawl is very thin.
Well, we are not chilly here.
I know. I can't wait.
I have one that was given to me by Yasser Arafat.
Wow.
Yes, and I cherish it. You know, I have one that was given to me because. Okay, let's go back to the philosophy.
Mm-hmm.
In the world, there are social democratic parties, progressive party. You notice even in the United States, Bernie Sanders declared himself a democratic socialist.
Exactly.
And he didn't say that he was against capital or he is against capital. Progressive ideas are coming back. In Germany, just last week or week before, the SPD, our sister party, won the majority. Although they can't form a government, they have to form a coalition government. And I've spent a lot of time with Michael Manley around the world. That's one of the things that I learned from Michael. I spent a lot of time with him in Latin America, in Caribbean, in Africa, going around with the Socialist International when I became the international secretary in the 80s to watch the development of other parties like us, because we are not a conservative party. To practice that philosophy, you have to ensure that your programs that you design, the programs that you put in place for the rural upliftment of our people, for the upliftment of the poor in your country, must be there to support them. So it's not really just going around and talking about, oh, I'm a democratic socialist, I'm a democratic socialist. It's the programs that you put in place. Mm-hmm. I am convinced that although Comrade Margolin, because I know that's where you want to go.
Exactly.
And that's where you want to go.
Yes.
I am convinced that the practice now of democratic socialism, the practicing of it, the unfolding of the programs in a different period when there is one superpower and another one emerging, China, as you know, we can talk about that at some point in time.
Right.
When the global landscape has changed, when the wall has come down, the Soviet Union, where I used to send a lot of students to go and study, I can't send them anymore. Party to party. I used to have to go to the Soviet Union every year to take students up there to see that they are settled in, to Cuba, to East Germany, Slovakia, to take them there to study. That's not there anymore. How do you practice the policies now? To ensure that the people benefit from the philosophy is the program that you come with, the participation of the people, your housing program, your education program, access to credit, opening the business opportunities for your people, opening up the economy so ordinary people can participate. Let me tell you what PJ did. PJ never go around and talk every day that I'm democratic socialist. But what he did, he opened the media landscape. He opened the university landscape under him, PJ Patterson. Media was just media. All of them cussing the PNP. Media. He opened the economy for other people to come in. And he made sure that when he introduced, through John Jr., Minister of Health, and myself was Minister at the time, the National Health Fund. So many people are now depending on the National Health Fund in this pandemic, Stafford. If we didn't have it, I don't know what poor people would have done. This is what we mean by implementing policies that reflect the philosophy of your party.
But
progressive policies.
Here is now.
Without apology.
Yeah.
And my leader, the maximum leader now, subscribe to that.
All right. So here's what I'm saying now. When you were coming,
Yes.
you were a beneficiary of the teachings of the thing.
Yes.
I understand what you're saying, that actions are there, a lot of things are being done, but you're a teacher too, and you know that you have to teach the lessons and then have the student do the practical to understand so there's an ideology. And to me, part of the problem with today's young men in particular, the women too, is they have nothing, nobody's teaching them anything. So they have grabbed onto the Don man culture, the killer culture. And I'm saying that while you're saying, yes, we have done these things, PJ did some little things, with his values and attitudes thing and to kind of show, because for some reason, something was established about black man time. It might have been uncomfortable for some, but the majority of the people in the country, 90% of the people in the country are black people. And so when they saw somebody looking like them was stepping up to the plate to be the head of the country, just like when Barack Obama stepped up and became president. It meant a lot. People might say, oh, he didn't give us this, never gave us that. But I'm saying, think of all the generations that came, the baby who came into the world when Barack was there. When Barack left, that person was then, say 1 year old, by the time he left, it would have been 8. So the only person they saw throughout their lives, and if we take it from 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, even at 8, that person at 8 years old, by the time Barack left in 8 years, that person would have been 16. So it is cemented in their consciousness to say that thing. So we cannot, just take it for granted to say, oh, they will get it, that we are democratic socialists. They have to be taught to say,
you have to teach. You have to teach this generation.
Yes.
The generation that is coming now, like Ashley, Amir, and the millennial and so on, they won't know that if you were born, you have to teach them. If you were born and your mother, your father were not married, your father's name could be on the birth certificate. They wouldn't know that in Jamaica, up to 1977, when Michael, 74, when Michael took, changed up a lot of things, that you were called a bastard child. They wouldn't know these things. They wouldn't know that before Norman Manley, you have to count on one hand how many white kids. Norman Manley did this before he started the common entrance. You could count on one hand how many black kids were at Wilmer's or at Monroe or so on. They wouldn't know these things. Our generation must teach the other generation, and in a different way. It can't be just ideology or philosophy or so. They must know your history. That is why when you opened with that song, it meant a lot to me. When you spoke about the teaching, and when I said about how many people have died in a period of time through the hard struggle. Many comrades I know lost their lives in 79 and 80 for this party.
For the country.
For this party.
For the country.
For the country. Because we believe in something. Yes. We have to teach the generation, Stafford. We have to teach the generation about where we are coming from.
Yeah. And I'm hoping that there are some ladies who I, get it connected to through some groups. And one of them is a person named Princess. I wish Princess could be on this call, because she's lived through the thing. She knows the thing. I think maybe somebody like a Karen, and I want to ask you about her later, but to say that these people lived through, and then they know what it was. And then kids come
these
now.
These are people I know very well. Princess young people, she went to do her studies.
Right, young
under
people,
the PNP banner.
You know her, right? Good.
Yes,
so
very well.
Yeah, young people come now, and they just take things for granted, and like you said, people pay them with their lives for that type of thing. And I saw the.
But it's like your own kids. It's like your own kids. Your own kids would not understand or appreciate the struggles you went through.
Yes.
Right. To be able to take the bus and pay the rent and struggle to go to school and to go to college. to provide for them. You put off some things for yourselves. You want to do this, but you can't do it because you want the things for your kids. It's just so we have to continue to teach because there is each epoch,
Yes.
whoever you call it.
Either.
Yeah.
Tomato,
Each
tomato.
of that period has different circumstances.
Yes.
That is it. Those who grew up in the time, I'll give you a story. The last time I went to the Soviet Union was in 1988. Myself, Paul Robertson, the General Secretary of the party, and Carlisle Dunkley. Michael Manley sent us to have some discussion at Comicon because we were about to win back. And we wanted to ensure that the Kremlin understood that we needed their support with the bauxite industry. Now, within a couple of years, the Soviet Union fell. Is that totally? We have no Comicom, we have no this, we have no that. I can't go to the Kremlin now to talk to see Comrade Putin. I mean, it's a totally different thing. They don't offer us any scholarships anymore. Things are different. Things have changed. The only country that has remained steadfast to the international friendship and solidarity is Cuba. Everyone has changed. The only country that has remained steadfast to the principles of international solidarity and friendship is Cuba and the Cuban people and the Cuban government.
All right, so you're saying that Mark Golding is more of a doer, doing the thing rather than speaking it. What would you say to Mark Golding to say, you don't want to be teaching?
You're breaking up a little. You're breaking up a little.
All right, let me go again. I'm saying, what would you suggest to Mark Golding to let him know?
Yes.
That since he's not a teacher or want to teach democratic socialism, what could you guys suggest to him to do so that this lesson is being, get started to be taught? And it goes the same for, say, Marcus Garvey's philosophy, because that is, the rest of the world is embracing it, but we are not. All right. So what he's not going to come and talk about Marcus Garvey,
No, he does. No. I have to correct you. Mark is a roots man. Mark is a very humble.
I understand him roots.
No. And Mark Golding is deeply rooted in social consciousness. There are a lot of things that people don't know about him. Hold on, Stafford. There are a lot of things people don't know about him.
We need him.
His father and his mother came to Jamaica and laid a foundation for unfortunate and disabled children.
I knew his father quite well. Yeah.
And he has grown up in that tradition and teaching of service. So there's nothing. When you talk about Marcus Garvey and Bob Marley and the rights of Black people and the need for Black people to have something, you can't ever challenge Mark Golding on that. I watched him, I listened to him, and but the leader don't teach it. The leader don't go there to teach us, Stafford. The leader doesn't go there. When we had our political education program, every month, every corner of Jamaica through the party, Michael Manley don't teach a class. We went and taught, but he was at everyone to see that and ensure that they were going on. That is what the leader will do. Make sure that the political education program of the party and the civic in the school when he becomes the prime minister and the teaching of Marcus Garvey, that these things are embedded in our young people in this country. Young people are going without any guidance, not even church. The majority don't even go to church. They go to Sunday school.
Exactly.
So they don't want. There's no moral compass. There's no moral philosophy. There's nothing. So it's no problem if you are a scammer. It's no problem if you rob somebody. It's no problem if you pull a gun and kill somebody. We have to change that. That can only be done through the education system in the parties. The parties too, I say, both political parties, not just one, and the education system of the country.
If you were to find yourself at the head of not just the chairmanship, but the presidency, and this is just, I like to imagine.
No, but you have to stop there. because I have never had any, absolutely at no
And
time.
I heard
I
you
am a
somewhere else.
very unambitious comrade. I don't have any
Let me
ambition,
tell you this.
no aspiration.
I know.
Stafford, please, I beg you, my brother, because I have never, ever given it a thought.
Listen,
I just want to be a good comrade for my party and work for my party.
Hear me now. Life has a way, see? Life has a way that it brings some little twists and turns, unexpected things. When you
It wouldn't turn on me.
You don't think so?
It wouldn't turn on me because
I don't know.
would not. No, because I would never.
You wouldn't accept it?
No.
Oh Christ. Anyway,
No.
so
I have competent and capable comrades.
all right,
coming
so now
up in the
let me take you out of the picture.
Much younger.
How do you, with all that is going on now, and the thing is really just a mess as far as I can see. The PNP, for we're dreaming again to say the PNP comes to power. What would be some of the first things you think should be adopted, applied, instructed by the leadership? Because I'm going to put in the sense of leadership.
Yeah, but you can't. First of all, you have to come to power. You have to have a plan. You have to
And
present.
I'm just saying, what in the event you come to power. What else?
Okay, I think one of the first things, and it's really hypothetical, really.
Yes.
But one of the first things, knowing my leader, one of the first things that he would be tackling is the issue, or three things: education and parity in education. This pandemic has shown up the disparity that we have in the education system. And with all the connecting parts to that, people in deep rural Hanover and deep rural Clarendon and Manchester and Rural Hill Primary School in Portland and some places don't have access to Wi-Fi. One student saw me last week and said to me, "Sir, while we were online, the teacher credit run out."
Oh God.
The teacher's credit ran out and they were 18. I'm a teacher, so I have a lot of friends from the Michael Student Association and my own class and so on, and principals who are still practicing tell you. Sometimes 80% of the students come on, 5 minutes they're gone. So equity in education is one of the things that I know is paramount in my leader's mind. Equity in education across the length and breadth of Jamaica. The second thing that I know is paramount in Mark Golding's mind is expanding economic activities for the ordinary man. Expanding the economic base of the country for ordinary people to play a part in this economy of Jamaica. The issue of corruption in the society, corruption robs our country, and he has spoken at every single meeting we have had. Comrade Golding been talking about how much corruption is robbing the people of Jamaica of the revenues, the money that could be doing other things. Could fix the road, could do the farm road, could build an indigent house, could bring Wi-Fi to a school, could help some farmers. Corruption. On the crime issue, I tell you, it's a big one, but there's absolutely no way. The PNP last administration in 2016, under Minister of Security Peter Bunting, and I have to give him that credit, had a program called Unite for Change, Stafford, where you take a different approach to crime fighting. It reduced crime. Not at the level that we wanted it to, but it was much less than what it is now. This is going to be a big year for murders in Jamaica. We really, it's our country. And collectively, not just PNP, collectively, we have to take a stance on how we deal with crime in Jamaica. Mm-hmm. It bleeds your heart and it bleeds my heart and my families all over the world and my friends in the diaspora. So every day they come and hear 1 weekend, 28 murdered. Next weekend, 15 murdered. It bleeds our heart. Mm-hmm. Jamaica, that has been almost an example to many countries around the world, especially in Africa. Many people in Africa and many countries now pattern their system from Jamaica. Mm-hmm. Many political parties that are in power now in the Caribbean, in Latin America, and in Africa came to Jamaica to learn about the PNP and our organization and how we manage And now we put out platforms to the people. Jamaica is a proud place. Jamaica is a place that people look up to.
But most people don't know this. How can we get people to start understanding?
Brethren, our system, we have to just promote Jamaica. We don't mean promote no man or no woman. We need to promote Jamaica. Jamaica has a lot that we can promote in a conscious way, a non-partisan way, and a way that makes our diaspora proud. Proud. Right. But it's a work in progress. Right. It is always a work in progress.
You dealt with the crime thing, but now the question I'd like to ask you, what approach you think, what's the best approach any government could take at this time to fix this crime problem?
It's a mixture of things. I have been around in the cabinet. I've seen KD Knight as Minister of National Security. Other people organize, they try many things. You have to be tough on criminal activities and criminals. And I am one of those persons, and I make no bones about it, that you have to be tough in dealing with criminals, with big, high power. I don't know if you saw some of the videos.
Yes,
circling at parties with NEC and some big gun.
Yes, yeah.
So you have to be tough with criminals. At the same time, you have to have interventions. You have to start this thing about in the minds of our children from in the schools. Unite for Change, that Peter Bunting got the approval of the cabinet to launch and was doing so well. In some of the communities, peace management initiative, they have, this government has removed all the funding. And if I am exaggerating or if I am not telling the truth, check the facts, I will apologize. This administration has not supported the initiative of peace management. So you have what? Tough policing. This curfew and state of emergency, in all the years of Portia Simpson and PJ Pattis, I don't think we have had 3 state of emergencies. PJ announced 1 state of emergency when there was a hurricane. I don't remember when, Portia, when we had another hurricane. This thing about state of emergency has now become stale, irrelevant. And the courts even say it is against the human rights of the citizens of Jamaica. And this curfew every night and this and lockdown, between me and you, they don't really work.
Well, I tell you.
Tough policing, social intervention, teaching. You have to support back the Unite for something like Unite for Change and the peace management initiatives in the communities. The people from the church and civil society used to go into Nannyville and go into Jarrett Lane and go into here. And before the war started, we have seen, talk to, what's his name from Universe, and he will tell you. John Maxwell, they will tell you what it has been. Talk to Reverend Era Blair. Ask them what were the successes of the peace management initiative. Right, this government has totally abandoned that approach.
Okay, so I've seen these things, and every year they come with different flavors. But when you and I come out of the same era, people looked at life differently. Yes. With Kingston was more what rural Jamaica looks like. No, not like just a lot of, people have nice houses, nice lawns and everything. That was the Kingston I knew when I was a child. And we never had this explosion of ghettos like we have seen over the last, maybe say, 40, 50 years.
30, 40 years.
And what people are doing, when I observe the thing, what I see people doing, they create these ghettos because it helps to guarantee them that they stay in power. And until we hear it, we have tried tough policing, we have killed kids, one day somebody killed 8 kids over Portmore. In my time, it started even from in my time. I remember, well, I was already maybe 21, 22, somewhere around there. But some guys who I knew, 8 of them were killed one day. 8.
Yeah.
Then nobody tried to grab them and to fix them. So this brutish kind of police thing doesn't work. Where I see the problem started was when the politicians started encouraging the ghetto development so they can get the numbers. We see, look at Montego Bay. When I was, a youth man, Montego Bay was one of the most peaceful places.
Yeah.
And it has become this crazy wild west scene, and that is because people have created these ghettos so they can guarantee themselves to stay in power. It started with, well, Siaga pulled down some of Tivoli, but then most of the other areas, he built Tivoli Gardens, but the rest of the place remained the same, shambles.
And then we know, and then we in the PNP side with Tony Smalley try to balance it by building up another
thing, and that's what I'm saying.
So, the need, but you're correct, but it's a different period now.
Totally but we have different. To stop it. It has to be stopped. And I'm saying, who's gonna say, all right, look at Red Hills Road, a prime commercial area, and the place is under pressure because behind where they said they create 100 lane and then create Park Lane and
Rock Club.
And look at this is where we used to party. Turntable, Rock Club, Tit for Tat, Top Hat, all of them were along that strip. And what happened behind those houses, those buildings? It's a big ghetto back there. And because the PNP controls one section, 100 lane, and the JLP controls Park Lane, and people can't do their business. These are valuable lands. People just capture them, back there creating havoc and mayhem. And if they would take out some of these people, one day I hear Chuck, the gentleman from the JLP, made a suggestion. He said, why don't we buy out these people? If we mean to do development, why don't we buy them out and take the land and start developing? Because that stretch of land, you might not know it so well because you're more from the rural areas.
Yes.
But there's a stretch of land from Park Lane going all the way up to the top and it's just on the border of Meadowbrook. It's nothing but ghetto and Danmanism and I say, buy out these people. There are
but it can change.
There are young people.
I do not subscribe to that philosophy of buying out people because they are poor people.
But no, it's not because they're poor. Because I'm not saying.
I don't subscribe to that. I subscribe to developing the area.
No, listen.
And going in for intervention and train them and teach them.
No, you're wasting money doing that.
In behavior.
Hold on. I went to Bahamas one time, and in the taxi man, I said, "Oh, I'm not seeing any ghettos," and because wherever we are, you're going to see some ghettos. And the guy said, when Pinling, who was the prime minister, he said, "You cannot." He said, "You have to take people out of those settings and put them in a nice settings to change ways and behaviors." Some of these towns, some of these cities, some of these areas, such as Doiney Park, Pembroke Hall, Heavendale, they never existed in this, until after the maybe 60s, late 60s, 70s, coming into the 70s. And these are the very people we're taking out of where Arnett Gardens is now. It wasn't called Arnett Gardens in the early days. It was part of this Jonestown and all those other towns. And what we did in effect in doing that, we created a great middle class in the Mona, the Heavendale, all of these places, even out to Rockford by we call it the Harbor View. All those places were built. Norman Gardens, and people never became criminals. Where the criminals started coming is when on the fringes of these places, when they start to ignore them because they know 2,000 more people going to come there and live in a shack. And I'm not saying, why not build some decent houses for these people? Tony Spalding started it. A lot of houses were built.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm just saying for you to, if you have ever looked at it that way, to say the only way you're going to do this is to tear down these ghettos. And not just saying it platitude, but in a real way.
I listen to you and I see how passionate you are about that approach.
Well, I know that's the problem. Yeah.
No, that's your view.
No, it's a problem. The policing,
you
we've been
feel
seeing this
passionate about
crazy
it.
kind of policing forever.
I give you another side of it. The same Park Lane and 100 Lane on Red Hills Road can be developed for the same working class people. I am not ever going to subscribe to the philosophy that the working class people and the poor people can live in good accommodation. Hold on, follow me. The same people, give them tenure, make sure they have titles for their land. Work up. When you have titles for your land is a strength that black men need to have in this country that they never had before. I was Minister of Land and Environment once, yeah? And I went to St. Thomas with Dr. Fenton Ferguson one Christmas Eve to issue about 150 titles. A man at about 75 years old came for his title. And when I handed it to him, he burst out in tears. And he said, Stafford, Dr. Fenton Ferguson, call him and ask him. The man said, if I got this piece of paper in my hand 20 years ago, I would have made myself a man. It means tenure. Black people had no tenure. It come from slavery. I am never ever going to subscribe. Build house for the people. Give them title for their houses. Make them live in good accommodation. Give them running water. Give them light. Give them road. Give them basic school. Put them basic school. Put them on
a man comes into an area, captures, you don't want somebody a piece of open land in front here, and some people come capture it. We
don't subscribe to capturing of land. No.
But that's what is happening.
It started that way, and that is why PJ Patterson started Operation Pride, where we started to deal with this capturing thing can't work. We built this place in St. Anne. We had this beautiful middle class community now developing Longsville, for example. Remember Longsville Park? PJ Patterson went and broke out. Longsville Park, phase 1, 2, 3. Many middle class people live there now. This one in Manchester there, that was done, middle class people on the hills of Manchester. I forget the name of it, slipped me right now. But the philosophy has to be, you have to be grounded in something, Stafford. You have to believe in something. Yes. The emancipation of the poor. But
listen, no. Did you give it and watch a man put up a shack? About 40 more come join and put up a shack with zinc.
No, when he put up the first shack, you remove him.
Then what's the difference? If you say, all right, he's there for many years, and they say, wait, give me 1 second to make this point. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second to make my point.
Yes, I want to hear the philosophy.
You say that if we say the one come, we should stop him. But guess what? Over time, the 50 of them who have the 50 shacks around the back there, and them some picnic who them can barely help themselves, so they become a problem to society. Not that they can't be fixed, because one of the things I would do with some of these kids, I would take them from the parents who can manage and keep them in,
you're venturing into serious revolutionary communist ideas.
But this is, I'm not even talking about no communist.
You can't take away children from their parents unless they're going to boarding school.
Wait, listen to me now.
Wait,
I can't leave it hanging. No, I can't leave it hanging. I have to tell you. In Israel, there's a thing they called kibbutzins. That's what they do.
Yes,
and they don't have the problems we have. They take the children and they grow them. And they go
you don't have the same thing you don't have the same thing in Korea, South or North. You don't have these things in many parts of the world because of their system.
Because
I don't think Israel...
They have proper systems.
Did Israel pass through slavery? Did Israel have to have emancipation?
Well,
did Israel have
the president,
the Middle Passage? Were they chained to boats? Come on, Stafford.
Listen,
There's a difference between people
no,
and our people.
listen.
They had a homeland. Yes, they went through the
If you ask
Holocaust.
the Israelis, then what I tell you, so them was in slavery too. Which is, I know it's not them, but they
No,
would tell you they were in slavery
the
too.
Holocaust was horrific and horrible.
Yeah.
It's a blot on the history of humanity.
But my thing, listen,
experience are different from the Jamaican experience.
This is where the problem is now, Comrade Dalley. We have maybe $40 billion or something like that sitting in the National Housing Trust account. And instead of saying, let's just go crazy and just build houses, those same areas I'm talking about, build those houses, proper housing in that Red Hills Road area, proper housing, not allow people to come build shacks. If we had been doing that, instead of building houses now, we have taken the money away and put it in the consolidated fund.
No, but
and
you are saying the same thing I'm saying. You are saying now the same thing I was saying.
Yeah.
Build good house, give the same people in Park Lane.
That's what I'm saying.
Build good houses for the same people in 100 Lane. Use the NHT for that. That's what Michael Manley started the NHT to do.
Because I don't have a problem with them living, with people living there, because I don't live there. You understand? I'm just saying what has become is this slum in the thing. And if I think it was Paul Geddes. I was fortunate to sit with some of these guys, like a Paul Geddes, when we would go to cover assignments. I would say, a blessed memory. Paul Geddes, you know what he did for his workers? At Christmas time, he would keep a function for the lowliest of person in the company, and he would require them to dress well. Maybe he'd give them the money to go out and buy a suit, a jacket or so. And those people were the proudest people you ever seen. These are people who come from some of the toughest areas. And he said, you know what? He said, if you just give a man that, put him in that suit and make him feel like somebody for a day.
Environment.
And that's what I'm saying. We can take them out, rebuild it properly. I remember Nannyville. Nannyville is probably one of the, I don't get to go in there anymore, but it's one of the nice things that came out of the Michael Manley era. Michael Manley definitely gave that one, the sites and service. So if we were doing that and doing site and service, you hardly hear, I'm not saying nothing is happening over there, but you hardly hear problems coming out of Nannyville. Because
every now and again you have a little problem.
A little flare up. Are you going to have that?
A very good, decent, well-stabilized middle class community with structures, with community structure, community organization, and so on. That's what I mean by building. The same thing can happen to Park Lane and can happen to Montego Bay and can happen to any other area in Jamaica. You have to work towards it, and you have to have the philosophical underpinning. Yeah. You have to have that in you, that we want to change and make the poor people of this country better.
This is why I don't believe in the brute force with the police force, because it doesn't bring the result that they're trying to get. That's why it's not happening, because the tougher they get, the tougher these other guys get. But if you give them a chance where the mother, who's a hardworking lady, like Dr. Peter Phillips came, former comrade leader, Dr. Peter Phillips, suggested to get out of this apartheid thing where, some people get through and some people just, because of the way you are, you get nowhere. And he was going to build, yes, give them the title, but make sure that they have somewhere decent living conditions. And I think we can solve it using that approach versus just going out with big guns at night and shoot down people. And
no.
Young kids. Because if you say you come through some bad things, I came through bad things too. But over time, I escaped the one where some of my friends got 8 of them died. They didn't have to die like that. But that's how the system treated it. And it was a stroke of luck. I was not there that day. And to say, over time, I grew and became a better person. All my friends are gone, understand? So we are saying—
I have lost many too. I have lost many comrades.
So this is what I'm saying. What is needed now is a
whole new revolution
approach to what is
revitalizing the inner city and revitalizing housing and tenure. The issue is tenure. Don't take it lightly. The issue is tenure. When the slaves were emancipated and they scattered all over in Sligoville and Colonel's Ridge and all over.
And trust me.
They had no tenure. And
you see
Jamaican people, the same people at 100 Lane.
You see, when it comes to Black consciousness, African consciousness, I'm a Pan-Africanist. You understand?
I know.
I don't believe in us allowing our people to live the way they're living now. And what we need is new thinking, new leadership who has to come and fix it. It's not, these kids are not just bad. It's a
and you miss a word. There's a word you're missing. Commitment. Commitment to it. Yes. Commitment to doing these things. That's a key word. Commitment to doing, to have this revolution with housing and education, etc., etc.
You said you wanted to get out 15 minutes before. Unfortunately, you're not getting out. But I have one last question. Okay, my better half is from a most beautiful place up in Clarendon, Brandon. Yes. And I tell you Clarendon people, you are some of the nicest people on God's earth. And I wonder why you're such an agreeable person, and everybody think you're the man to bring peace and all of that. And this is how people from that area are, you know, and because my other half, you know, that's our family, that's all the people. And I was up that place, I went in there once and I fell in love with that place so much. And I tell them, if I ever get a chance,
right at the foot of the Bullet Mountain,
they're ready to give it to me to do it. I would turn that into some kind of, not the kind of tourist where just want white people, but a place where Jamaicans could escape to, you know, have the family with their children, they just want to escape to, because more and more we're getting into apartment living and they're moving away from the rural areas. But this is somewhere where you could build cottages and they could go there and spend the weekend with their children and they learn about nature and pick fruits and whatever. But when I went there, the road was horrible.
When did you go? Which year?
When the last time Paul Burke was GenSec, and that's how I kind of met Paul Burke, because I went and I started somewhere. I'd met him before, but I called him up and I was like, Paul, can't you do anything? Because, you know, Stafford Perkins, people know Stafford Perkins. So I thought I could go out and go put my name out there and, you know, get something done. And it never happened. I heard those people complaining bitterly against you. I'm telling you now. It's
up to now.
And
maybe that's one of the reasons why they voted.
I want to give you the last four or 5 minutes to finish this. So it never got fixed, you know. And every time when I would ask, did anything happen? I said, no. I said, boy, I thought that my name meant something, you know, back then. So when I look now, the same thing is happening. Whoever is in charge now, they say Why is that so? Why is it that hard to fix?
I can talk about my period. I can talk about what the new guy is doing now, the new member of parliament, or what he intends to do. I did a comprehensive rehabilitation of that road once, completely from Kellits to Penance, right through once. And that was, I think, in 1992. I got elected first 89. And by 92, at that time, it was the largest contract in the parish of Clarendon. It was $189 million. Bill Wright Construction Company did it, comprehensive. And they'll tell you, and they voted for me like crazy for the second term. It lasted for about 10 years or so. Then it started to deteriorate and deteriorate. Here's a problem. The government, and I talk about both all administration, they don't pay attention to maintenance stuff. To maintain, how could you do a comprehensive rehabilitation from Morgan's Pass, Penance, all the way to Kellett Square with curve and channel and this and that and walls and lovely road? Everybody talk about it and went in droves to vote for me in my second term, and you don't maintain it. So by about 10 years, and that road should have really stood up for at least 20 years with maintenance, stand up good, because it was well done. And the citizen will tell you, the only person who has ever comprehensively renovated that road from Kellett Square to Penance is Horace Dalley. Then another time I did some rehabilitation, patching out, and they were happy with it, and it just started to deteriorate. In 2015, I'm in the cabinet, and I presented the case, and Comrade Portia Simpson Miller, who has relatives in Brannan Hill, said we must do the road. 882 million it was the tag when NAA went and did the assessment. I wanted to have the Chinese do the road because they were doing some work in the area and they had equipment and them work fast, employ local labor, but they did the engineering for it and take out some of the corners and so on, because at the foot of the Bullhead Mountain, every rain, every little drizzle, you have landslide, because you know it very well. Because here, the two mountains and the road in the middle, you know the place.
Yeah, no, I don't know it very well, but I have an idea.
And shale soil, not clay, shale. So as you have a little rain, the landslides come down. If you see it now, I drove through there about 3-4 weeks ago, coming from a funeral. Believe you me, from Kellitz to Penance took me about an hour and a half.
Yeah, I heard about it.
Bad. But the price tag, when I was, before we lost in 89, was $882 million for complete overlay and rehabilitation. Then we lost the government. Now, Andrew Holness, even though I know him very well and we have a good relationship, would not have given me as a PNP MP, $882 million for a road. He would never do it. I go to them, I beg them. I got one road in that period. From 2016 to 2020, I got one road from the government to do. The rest of the roads that I did, like Carter Hill and other roads, came from CDF. And I patch out every Christmas, I patch out the main roads, try to patch out. That is what happened. What this MP needs to do is to see if he can get, it is about $1 billion now, I can tell you.
Wow.
It's about $1 billion. Some people were saying, imagine you spending $1 billion, almost $1 billion. How much taxes you collect? I say, you don't care how much tax to collect. It's how many lives you affect positively. You understand? And the farmers can come out and traffic can come out quickly and people can move up and down quickly. But that has to be a big decision taken by this cabinet, or if the next couple of years when the PNP comes back to power, I'm sure that it will be done because the people needs it. There are a couple of roads in Clarendon and St. Mary and St. Thomas, and we know them, you know. No, I just don't talk for myself because I know what people go through. There's a road in Penlight Castle in St. Thomas, up the hills up top St. Andrew. There are some roads in St. Mary. There are some roads in St. James and Trelawney and Clarendon. Oh my God. People should not live like that when they pay taxes.
All right. So one question, a question is a very pressing one, and I would be, I tell you, I would be put on the firing squad for this if I didn't address this.
Okay.
It's one of my generals, my warrior queens, a lady named Miss Karen Cross. Yes. What's the story? You are going to be well, no, let me take that back. And you notice I skirted past. I didn't ask you anything about your campaign or anything. Because I heard that the treatment you gave somebody on that one, you didn't want to talk about it. So I made sure to stay far from it. But take it you become the GenSec. This situation with Miss Karen Cross, something.
No, we have a GenSec. We have a GenSec. I've offered myself for chairman of the party.
Oh, you wouldn't have anything to do with that? Because you came out that morning when she came up there in her demonstration.
Yes, I went to see her. I'm the acting chairman. And first of all, let me say, I know Comrade Cross for a long time. She's my comrade. She was my friend. She still remains my friend. She's a good comrade. She has served this party well. And I have no joy, absolutely no joy at all, to see the party voted majority vote to expel her. Absolutely no, in fact, it pains my heart when I had to preside over that executive and take that vote for a long-standing warrior member of the party to be expelled. Let me just make that clear.
Is there
But the
any,
party is an organization.
is there
And the
any,
organization has rules.
is there any
And
chance
just to
that,
say,
is there any chance that that can be fixed? Because maybe something
let me
seemed like
tell
it was
you,
a hurried or a
all right,
rushed.
let me say this, Stafford. Let me say this. The party has a very strong and vibrant constitution. And when I signed the letter to her, because I had to sign the letter, and the pain it took me to sign that letter to a long-standing member, but I had to do what I had to do as the acting chairman. And I make no apology. I had to do because I belong to an organization and have to carry out the mandate of the People's National Party. I was very, very clear that in that letter, I referred Karen to clause 141, which is the right to appeal the decision taken by the executive. Because if you're charged for murder and they find you guilty, you can go appeal to the Supreme Court in Jamaica. And if them still find you guilty, you can go to London right now, because we don't, for some reason, we're just talking around Caribbean Court of Justice and we won't take it on. But you can appeal at the Privy Council. So justice in the party has to be maintained. And she has the right to appeal. And I don't know if I want to say it here, but I understand that she has appealed the decision. That's all I can say. And I can say,
I want to make this my final one because I would like to hear something on this. They, as you mentioned, going to Britain for the final Court of Appeal. What do you think of this situation with us being a part of the Queen being the head of Jamaica? We see we're little Barbados as
you don't have to go any further. You don't have to go any further. You're talking to me as a old-time revolutionary comrade. You're talking to
revolutionary.
It's full time now. It's full, let me say it unequivocally. It is full time now that Jamaica removes the Queen as the head of state of this beautiful country.
And we have heard it over, we heard it from PJ and we heard it from
but you just
Mama
need
P.
Because of the structure of the parliament and the structure of our democracy. Let me big up Mayor Motley in Barbados for what she has done. That woman there, as a prime minister, know what she want. She announced what she want, and she did it day before yesterday, I think.
Yes, they say she's now the prime minister of the Caribbean.
Yes, well, I'm not. What I can say, she's my sister. What I don't say, she's the prime of the Caribbean. Don't put too much weight on her head right now, right, people in there. But it is unequivocal, as far as I'm concerned, Stafford. After so many years, the Queen, we should never go to the Parliament and to say Her Majesty's, her heir and successors, and bless the Queen and her all. You ever listen to the prayer of Parliament? Yeah? One day we have time I'm going to say it to you because I know it by heart, but I drop out some of it. No, it's a joke thing. It's a total joke, joke. And I think I was expecting Andrew Holness as a millennial child or a new younger generation. I was expecting him on this to move fast and decisive.
But he doesn't have any interest in doing that.
No, he has no interest in that, I think. I don't think he has any interest. I'm just saying that.
They'll need to add some liberal arts courses to when people studying economics or management. They need to add some other liberal arts courses so people can get some understanding of, what consciousness, self-awareness is all about. So, because this is what I think this man is lacking.
No, I think he's just timid. I think he's timid to do it. I don't think he doesn't know.
Yeah, but
no,
what's the difference between me and you and why we would do it?
He's just timid to do it. Call the PNP together, and both of you come together and say, this is where we're going to go. Like when we had the issue of in Parliament that we had to deal with the Charter of Rights. The Charter of Rights, we just both sides, Bruce Goldings and Comrade Patterson, I think it was, and AJ led the thing, and they said, yes, we need a Charter of Rights. I think Prime Minister Andrew Holness, who I know very well, I must admit, and my brethren, and know for a long time, I don't think he wanted to even touch it, which I think for a legacy as a young Prime Minister, he should move like Barbados, get the PNP on board, get the Joint Commission going, and remove the Queen as our head of state. And it's
Comrade,
the ball is in his.
Comrade Horace Dalley, I want to say how thankful I am, grateful I am for you coming on this program, because it's sometimes not easy to catch up with people and to say, come on the program, or to even convince them to come. Because my own little thing I'm trying, because I started out to say, give people a chance to hear whatever grief they have on this, what was going on with the party. And
you never take the questions from your viewers.
no, I know they're going to curse me out again, but my problem is I'm going to leave that one, because there's a gentleman on standby. I'm gone 9 minutes into his time, and that is Mr. Kevin Taylor, who.
Give Kevin my regards. I know Kevin. Kevin is talking about.
To sit.
Kevin.
He's in the lobby there waiting for me to let him in.
You mean Labor Right Kevin Taylor?
Yeah, him turn Labor Right, yes. Him say, so I was asking about him, but he's
one time he was a good comrade,
Yeah, he spoke well of you. He spoke well of you.
He's a good
yeah,
person.
when I'm finished with him, he might come back to the fore.
Give him my regards. Because
he's gonna tell, maybe you should listen to him if you get a chance. He's gonna tell why he left. And this is what I think is lacking. People are not listening. Part of the problem, people are not listening enough. And that's why we are where we are today.
Let me preempt him. Kevin was a good comrade who worked hard in that constituency and his division. Kevin must understand, or should have understood, that teamwork, be patient. In politics, you must be patient and wait your turn.
Mm-hmm.
Be patient, be a team player. Not everything you see or happens, you're going to be in agreement with, but a team player, and is a good youth. I know Kevin because he was part of my party. Yeah. So I know this he's younger than me, much younger than me, but I know Kevin very well. And we used to drink 2 beers together sometimes.
All right. With that, sir,
he means well for his people.
With that, I want to say thank you. And at the earliest, when we get a chance again, maybe when the results come up next weekend, maybe we get a chance to, you can be more, responsive to any questions. Say, what will you do for the party if you became the chairman, full chairman? So with that, thank you, sir.
I tell you what.
I love and regard to your family.
Yes. Thank you very much, my friend. God bless.
God bless you.